Alright, so let's move on. We'll talk about attacking yard. I think it's probably best first, seeing as we're here already. So do you want to go through that attacking yard with?
I guess we're going the wrong direction.
Yeah, let's go attacking yard with uber advantage. So say you've killed their mid, like say you've killed their med on rollout, but like you know they've got 3 or 4 players out. You guys lost 3 or 4 players, so now you're like at a slow, like you couldn't just push straight into yard. You've got uber ad.
Pushing to yard, there's a lot of options, obviously. I mean, there's, as I was saying, with that new window, that gives you another route of attack. A lot of the time, this is like probably one of the most sticky doors along with the right side. So, a lot of the time, you'll probably want to go to the right side, just because it's probably the least sticky door of them all, just because if you get through the left, if players get left through the left, then you just can go behind them and completely just shut them out of the yard and potentially just crunch them from behind. So this is generally the most sticky area. Yeah, exactly. It's all massive, crappy.
And you're pushing through a corridor as well. Like this is all a massive corridor, and you're coming from another corridor.
So whereas with the right side, as soon as you got the right side, it's just nice and open, gives you a lot of room to do what you want. And a lot of time you can even just get in here, even with uber advantage, without having to pop. If you just waste their rockets a bit, maybe from the left side, and just blindside them, they don't notice you. Your pocket can jump here, shooting their demo man isn't warlock and hasn't like backpedal stickied every goddamn play, and just get instant ground while your demo just pushes forward, and just you pretty much get the yard for free. But assuming you don't get it for free, I mean, like, moving from the right side is strong, moving from left is strong. It really just depends how you want to play it. I mean, I don't think Scout is that good here. It's probably more like a double heavy Uber. And some people will probably disagree with me, but that's the way I like to do it a bit more often. And
yeah, just because like the actual distance that you have to travel as a Scout to get into their combo, because if they know you've got uber advantage, most likely they're just going to be trying to force you and get out. So like they'll be standing where James is now. This is a long way to go as a Scout and get like juggled around. Whereas as a soldier or a demo or like the roamer in your pocket, like you can jump from back here, and you can already be putting pressure on them. Just like, oh, I thought you had your thing on. Yeah, so you could just be jumping and shooting them like that, and like get a fair bit of damage on and a fair bit of kills. Because really you only need to pick up 2 or 3 kills, and then you can take last just about. So we'll talk about that a bit more in a little bit. In saying that, that doesn't mean that left is bad. Left is still a strong push. Really, you just have to play it situation by situation. So if you're standing here, well, on the other side, and you see them sticking up the left a lot, sorry, sticking up the right a lot, my left, your right, you see them sticking this up a lot, you probably don't want to push there. And if they're like all sitting here and spamming it, like you may not be able to get in, so you may be better off going left. Honestly, it really does depend. If you do go left, you don't want to come out the little door, really, unless you get a pick and they're forced way back and you know that. But you could like push your roamer out here and jump in, or you could just push scouts out and take ground, or you could, like, I mean, there's lots of things you can do, really. You can push like out here and like try and sneak in left if they're playing back.
yeah, if they're playing far back, you can definitely just sneak through the left side and just go behind them.
Yeah, that honestly is one of the, not the most common things. I think right is probably still the most common. But like if they're afraid of you and they're sitting back here and you know it, like you can just like, and only their demos forward, all you have to do is kind of like have a show of force, like spam a bit from here, or like even just like have a scout, just shooting scatterguns from there, and that demo's going to get scared and pull back a bit, and then you can just sneak out into left yard and just make sure you watch for the roamer or the scout that is probably kind of camping your medic a bit, being a little goblin.
It's actually pretty easy to just pressure people out of this yard, because there's those 3 entrances where 3 different players can actually be spamming from. So like if you have your roamer there just for fun, you have, I don't know, say your demo spamming from here with pipes and stickies, and your pocket is spamming from here, like you can actually just get a crap ton of damage on the other team and just push in for free, and then lead into that left side push going in towards stairs and just crunch them from behind.
Because of the nature of the game, like obviously you'll be taking spam as well, but because you have Uber, your team is less worried than theirs. Like their team knows that if they drop a player or 2 players to spam, they're going to be in big trouble, or even if they take too much damage, they'll be in big trouble in the eventual Uber fight that happens, if it happens quickly. Whereas for you, I mean, really, you could lose 2 or 3 players as long as they're not your med, and you would still be okay after that. So, like, I mean, that's just a little insight into, like, spam, I guess, and the way it works. I mean, Granary is a very choky map in some ways, but when you've got advantage, you can definitely take advantage. Like I can't say take advantage of it. That's ridiculous. You can definitely capitalize on that advantage. So that's kind of equal Ubers. If it does come to an Uber fight, like we said, you really just want to be getting at them as fast as possible. Like, you don't need to overcommit, because once you take second, it's actually pretty strong defending second with Uber disadvantage, which we'll talk about soon. But yeah, if you can pick up a kill or 2 kills, you can probably push into last just with that player ad, even if you've used your Uber and they're close to getting theirs. Alright, let's talk a bit about player advantage. What kind of player advantage do you think is worth pushing off, James, into yard?
I honestly think you could probably just rock it with any. When you think about it, as I was saying, this is such a spammy point. Like, you can be spammed from so many different areas. If they even just down a roamer, like, they're gonna either have to have more focus on this left side here, or like not much at all. Like, if they just decide to neglect it in the fact that they don't have a roamer. So if you just like take your time here and just poke a bit, maybe a scout runs through and clears the stickies, you can just bust through the left side. And if there's a scout just sitting here and you catch him unawares, sometimes I'll just do a real aggro jump just from, actually I don't fuck it up, an aggro jump from here, and if there's a scout here, I'll just double rocket him, and a lot of the time he's not going to be overhealed, so it's just another kill. Just turning a little advantage into a bigger advantage, and then just, you can take stairs as a result of their roamer not being up. Obviously, the best one to push on is Demo Man, because Demo Man can easily lock this area down, but honestly, pretty much any player advantage works. It just depends how you want to play it. If they have, medic down and every other player up, you can just attrition them and win, obviously, because you have more health. If you have, scouts up on them, like they have 1 or 2 scouts missing, you just, once again, play to the flank.
I'll W a bit, yeah.
Exactly. It just really just depends, once again, strengths and weaknesses on either side and how you want to play it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's especially true when neither team has Uber, but you have a player advantage. Just because, like I was saying before, they're more afraid than you are of losing players, because obviously they're closer to their last point. When both teams do have Uber, sneaking out left can be difficult, because they may be holding forward-ish, and they may then look to actually trade Ubers with you. It really just depends on the team and on the situation. So I guess that's probably a good place to lead into equal Uber pushes. So the most likely thing that you'll be doing on an equal Uber push is honestly either spamming them out and then taking left, which is possible, or just coming in right side. So both teams have Uber. They'll probably either be holding kind of forward or still holding back-ish, just because they know that you may, like with equal Uber, like if both teams use, they don't really want to use before you unless they can pick up a few kills.
I guess a good thing to point up is that it's kind of hard to pick up where they're going to push from, like a lot of the time, until it's too late. Because like, you think about it, if you stand, like say where I'm shooting, like that's pretty standard pocket soldier position. If you're just standing there and spamming, if I just walk here, like I'm already in rocket jump range and to like just jump anyone. So you could be like, oh, they're coming left, but it's like, it could be too late. So a lot of time you need to actually play a bit forward, but if you're playing forward as a defender, you can just get destroyed, so that's something you gotta be careful about.
Yeah, even if you don't die, like if James does that jump and gets Ubered out of the door just here, like that could be really kind of bad for you, because you'll likely have to pop straight away as well.
And you'll have a lot of people bunched up there. Like, if, like, worst case scenario is, like, your roamer's on the left side by himself, you have a scout standing on your combo here, you maybe have another scout up here for whatever reason. Your demo, med, and soldier like bunched up in this kind of area. If they just do a single Uber, they can just crush you, force a massive multi-Uber. But yeah, that's something you really need to be careful of. Just those aggressive solo Ubers. Like, even a demo man could do it. Like, demo man's strong doing it there.
The thing about Yard and equal Uber is, like, it's not hard to hold, but it's also like as soon as you get like your toe in the door, it's not that hard to push either. Like, that's kind of the big thing about Yard. Like, as soon as you take a little bit of ground, you can just, like, slowly consolidate it and make them, like, get antsy and, like, do things to you sort of thing, and then you'll have an equal Uber, etc., etc. When all this is happening, we haven't really spoken about the flank yet that much, when all this is happening, like when we're pushing, I tend to go the direction that James isn't going, unless we're all sneaking in left, and then I might just like poke out here, and I guess I'm still going the direction he isn't going, but I'm coming from the same door, just so that I can put spam on them and stop them wrapping around. Even if I die here, like it's not good. But really, it's unlikely if I'm standing here that they're going to be like jumping me or pushing me, because if it doesn't work out for them, it means that our team is in for free, and now they're like cutting you off, sort of thing, if that makes sense. In a case where James goes right or comes left to right, like out here or through this way, I'll probably just sneak in left. Just walk in here, maybe with one scout, maybe not with a scout, and I'll just look to make sure there's nothing camping here, make sure there's nothing here, and then I'll just kind of push in and either jump off that wall to where I am now and then like poke in through here if I know they haven't fallen out fast enough, or I'll just go straight upstairs and look to pick a jewel, maybe with a scout, maybe not, spam that wall just there, push upstairs and try and get the kill. They're kind of like the standard options. I don't really want to go into the variations too much, just because they're all so situational that if I try and explain them, they're probably not really going to make that much sense. Like, and I'll pretty much have to like recreate an entire situation to make you understand it. But yeah, like just look to not be in the same place as your pocket unless you're doing like a full-on like rush, like a blitz. And yeah, look to get kills, and most importantly, unless you're going to trade, try not to die. Like, you don't really want to die unless you're going to trade, to be honest. I mean, it'll happen, especially when you're just like learning, and even afterwards, like sometimes you just die. But yeah, try and stay alive, because if you stay alive and you get a kill, or if you trade, both good, it means your team can then push last, especially if they don't use Uber and you make the other team Uber. So yeah, anything else for attacking yard, or do we want to do defending yard?
I don't really think there's too much. I mean, it's just like sometimes, like, the way you attack yard determines how you want to attack second, and vice versa. Like, how you want to attack second can be like how you want to attack yard. So say you're in mid and you're deciding like straight away a couple of steps ahead, I want to attack through stairs, like single Uber, like combo, and just destroy them from above, force a massive multi-Uber. A lot of the time I will come through left, like we'll try and poke left and take left yard and then go stairs. So that's something to keep in mind. Obviously you don't really want to like take stairs after going right side if you want to rush. I mean, if you want to just take it slow, take right side and then work your way towards left. Really just depends.
Yeah, like, that makes sense. Like, when you're on a rush, you want to be like losing as little time as you possibly can. Like, you want to be like cutting corners and making margins, so that like the whole idea of a rush is to catch them in a position where you're stronger. And if you take your time, that may not be the case. Yeah. Alright, let's do defending. Like, we kind of talked about the standard position, which was pretty much everyone here. Like, somewhere here, up there, maybe here, maybe forward there, maybe forward over there, maybe camping on that light if you got a death wish. Really, you can do anything. Your roamer's probably on right. If he's not on right, you guys are watching right really closely, and your roamer is probably sitting forward on left. And this is something that I do when I get frustrated, which usually means that the other team is taking ages to push. I'll just come here, and I'm not trying to die. Like, I'm pretty much safe, and I'll just like spam this corner just here, or I like just kind of wait just here and wait for someone to come in. James does it too. I mean, it's a risk.
Yeah, I just actually stand forward a lot, like on the left, funny enough. Like, that's probably my more common position. Like, it's not, all the time, because a lot of the time our demo man will have this kind of area stickied and spammed, and our medic will probably be forward. Yeah. Maybe here, or if he's real tricky, you can jump up on the roof there and heal me from there. And a lot of the time, if they don't see me, if I'm actually not poking, but if I like hear them, I'll just like poke forward, easy juggle, because this is such a short choke, and easy pick, and we could turn that into a push extremely quickly. So that's something you want to do, because like when you're defending, you don't want to just be set on defending the whole game. You want to be trying to like catch them by surprise and get a pick and then turn that into a quick push. You don't want to just be like defend, 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 defend. I mean, that can work, especially if you've got like let's say you're up 2-0. Like, you can just defend, 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 sure, if you want, but like, even then you could just catch them off with a surprise push and just completely decimate them.
And that kind of thing is good, because you're like pretty much guaranteed to force a multi if you sit there and they don't see you. Like, and you don't really need a multi because you can block off that door on your own pretty much, but they're going to be multiing players like crazy because they need to keep everyone alive. Otherwise, in that little choke door, you can like kill players with like spam pretty much. I mean, and while he's doing that, obviously you can't leave left open. Like, so we'll have scouts jumping up onto here and like poking it, or I'll do it. I'll poke it from here. Like, you know, you just like may like peek around the corner. Like, you want to make sure that nothing can get through at all. Like, you want to pretty much lock down so that James can sit forward. And really, then all you've got to be careful of is like slow reaction times from your medic, or like getting caught out. And you don't want either to happen, really. I guess your other option for defending is we'll talk about uber disadvantage. With uber disadvantage, the big thing is you want to force them. Preferably, you don't have to. You want to force them, and you want to get out. Like, you want to get as many of your players out as you possibly can. So often that means sacrificing your Roma. So, like we said before, lots of the time they'll come out this door. If they do come out that door, you can just like jump here, like time it, jump here, shoot this thing, medical pop most of the time, unless you miss or something weird happens, like you get air shot or something like that. If they come out right, like you can either like predict it and jump here, like just as they come out, or you can like get up here and do the same thing, or you can be on right and then like come from this door here and just try and spam them enough and maybe rush a scout through there, or like jump them. Pretty much like what I'm saying is try and force them, but you don't want to lose any more than, honestly, you don't really want to lose more than one player, maybe two.
Yeah.
Like if you're at 80, if you're at say 70%, two players won't kill you because you'll get Uber in time to stop the
If you're
point.
at like 20%, losing 2 players probably costs you the round.
Yeah, because they can push, like they can cap second and then push in to last before
Like they can
respawn.
even just leave one player at second and just roll you to last. That's something you definitely want to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a mistake that a lot of teams make, I think. Like, they think, oh, we need to force the Uber, and then they lose too many players, and then even though they get Uber, it's too late. Like, they can't do anything, they've lost too much ground, or they've already lost the point, or they have other players then dying on the flank because you don't have a flank anymore, and stuff like that. So yeah, you really do want to be careful, like losing too many players equal Uber. And it's the same for player advantage. If you've got player disadvantage, you don't want to lose anyone else. Like, you don't want to like drop too many players. Like, you can look to trade, and it might not be the worst thing in the world, but unless you're trading up something fierce, like Roma for medic, or Roma for demo, or scout for 2 players, or something like that, you're really just disadvantaging your team further. And again, you're probably definitely going to lose second, and you might lose last.